lead generation. Telemarketing, when an SDR directly contacts a person in order to introduce his company, in order to introduce his products and services. Okay? And what is lead generation? It is a process of building interest in any product or service offered by the company. Okay? And then convert or transfer that interest into a sale. It's called lead generation. These are two general terminologies of digital marketing. Okay? Now, what's the most important language tools for these type of marketing? Only two language skills are direly required. Only two language skills are direly matlab extremely required for these sort of marketing. Okay? Like first is your listening, and second is your speaking. Okay, you are all my old students are highly familiar with these two concepts. We have just made ample discussion regarding these two language criteria. Okay, listening, as far as listening is concerned, it is a receptive.
Yeah.
It is receptive,
Yes.
and whereas speaking is concerned, it is productive skill. Listening is our receptive skill, and speaking is our productive skill. Okay? These two skills are, as I said, direly required in this type of digital marketing field. Okay, so as far as speaking is concerned, okay, first of all, I will just throw some light on speaking. Okay, as far as speaking is concerned, it is definitely a productive skill, and when we shape up our approaches, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions into words, it means we are speaking. And speaking is definitely direly essential in order to make any client or customer convinced, persuaded, and attracted towards your particular product or service. Okay? And what is required in speaking? In speaking, something like elements are required. First of all, you must be articulate. You must be articulate. What is articulate? It means you must be very much clarified. You must be aware of all the explanations. You must have the ability to explain the products and services of your company. Articulate. Okay? You must be expressive. You must be explanatory. You must be, yes, you can be able to describe the products and services offered by your company. Okay? You must be articulate. You must be well versed. You must be well versed. Okay? Then you must be having strong fluency. You must have strong fluency in order to attract the native speaker. Because you are not calling to any particularly native speaker. You are calling to yes, a person sitting in UK or USA. Okay, so you must be having very much strong fluency. Then your accent must be very much fascinating according to the just rules and regulations of modern English that is usually spoken in England or America. Okay, afterwards you must have good pronunciation. You must have very good pronunciation. Pronunciation matters a lot. Usually people over here even just utter pronunciation in a wrong manner. They call it pronunciation. It is not a pronunciation. It's pronunciation. Okay? You must be articulate. You must be well versed. You must have strong fluency. You must have good accent. You must have grip on your pronunciation. Okay? Okay, then you must have complete knowledge of your product company. You must have complete knowledge of your product and your company. Okay? While being a good speaker, especially in these fields. Okay? Afterwards, what is required? Articulation, well-version, having strong fluency, excellent pronunciation, complete knowledge of your product and company. Okay, then you must have like creativity as well, because you are an SDR, sales development representative. You must have creativity, and in which areas you must have creativity, we are just going to discuss in today's lecture. Okay, you must have creativity, like you should be able to create anything. You should be able to create something regarding the product and company. Like if you are asked question by that caller, by that person, by that client, you must have the ability to satisfy him through your answer. You must have this much creativity in yourself. Okay, and definitely creativity practices definitely just are being done by the company, and you are just you are going through from these creativity practices. Okay, through your mock session, and many things are there. So for speaking, these things are directly required, highly required. You must be articulate, well versed, strongly fluent. You must have good accent pronunciation. You must have complete knowledge of your product and company. You must be creative enough. Okay, for speaking. Whereas listening is required. Okay, listening basically, as I just told you, it is a receptive skill. Okay, and then I have just taught you earlier that there is a fine line between listening and waiting. There is a fine line between listening and waiting. It means that when you're listening, you are not supposed to promptly respond. You are not supposed to promptly respond. You should wait a bit. And afterwards you should respond. Because that response that you are just giving after waiting for a moment will be appropriate, will be suitable, will be accurate. Waited response will be appropriate, will be suitable, will be situational, What happens in a call center scenario? Basically, you people are provided with some scripts. Okay, you are supposed to learn those scripts, and it is happening all over the call centers. Script is being issued to all SDRs. They just cram the script and they work accordingly. Usually, almost you can say 80% it is applicable. You people are successful by learning all that script and molding it according to situation. But for that molding, you need to be creative as well. Okay? For that molding, you need to be creative as well. But usually, sometimes some technical questions are asked. Sometimes, you are supposed to encounter some haphazardness. Okay, you are supposed to deal with some problematic situation. Like problematic questions are there, technical issues are there, haphazardness is there. Okay, something is asked regarding your product that you are basically not fully aware of. Then script doesn't work over there. Then you have to be creative enough. Then you have to be intelligent enough to deal with that particular situation. Okay, and then situational thing comes in the forefront. Okay, because that question is asked, and you are promptly and at once responding to that question. The answer definitely will be wrong. Because if you are, I just again repeat the thing, if you are asked some technical question, if you are asked some unusual question, and without thinking for a moment, you have responded to the client, definitely it will be wrong. Because it was out of your script. It was totally out of your script. How could you answer that? Even without thinking. And you haven't thought, and you have promptly responded. So it would be wrong, and it would definitely put a question mark on the goodwill of that particular SDR and as well as that particular company. So if we just understand this fine line between listening and waiting, then we will be able to handle this situation in a bit better manner. Okay, basically it's very suitable in our normal life. It's also very suitable because just soon after listening, many people are just habitual of responding. Soon after listening, just imagine how can we respond soon after listening. We have just conceived the approach of some new person. We have grabbed his thoughts, we have just captured his opinions. Now just we will just amalgamize those things in our mind, and we will mold them according to our approach, according to our opinion, according to our thought, and then we can be better answer. How can we do it without thinking, without waiting? And for thinking, wait is required, not like a wait of 2 hours or even half an hour. Small wait is required. Okay, so listening is a receptive skill. So for a proper listening, we must be just habitual of creating a fine line between the listened thing and between the responded thing. We must create a small fine line. Okay, so that we can have these things. Okay, afterwards, what thing is required? Again, active listening. Active listening is required. Active listening, my students are aware of active listening, but for the newcomers, I'm repeating it. Always listen to understand. Never listen to respond promptly. Or listen to understand, listen not to respond promptly. You can give response after a short while, after the completion of the lecture, after the completion of the topic. You can respond, you can ask any question, but you are not supposed to respond soon after the thing is covered. Soon after the thing is over, you are not supposed to respond. That will be not a good way of learning or anything like that. Okay, so if you just want to be an active listener, definitely you have to be an active listener. Why? Because you are an SDR. You are an SDR, you are sales development representative. You are supposed to be very active listener. And for active listener, you must listen to understand, because it's totally a new field. It's totally a technical field. Digital marketing is there. It's not like a normal shopkeeping is going on, where you're standing in front of the shopkeeper and you're discussing everything about his product and all that. You are just convincing the person whom you have never seen in your life, whom you have never met in your life. Okay, it's your very first interaction, even on the telephone. Okay, just through your speaking and through your active listening, you are supposed to make him impressed by your personality, by your qualification, by your skill, by your creativity. You can impress him easily. You can impress him easily by your all traits. He can be well aware that the person is creative. He can be well aware that the person is prompt like responder. He can well understand that person is very much active listener. He can understand that person is quite actively aware of all the outcomes of his company. He can well understand through your speaking and active listening skill. He is not sitting in front of you. You are not having live meeting. You are having telephonic meeting, but you can make him impressed. You can make him attracted towards you, towards your approach, through all these things. So, for an SDR, you are supposed to be very much active listener. An active listener always listen to understand, listen not to respond. Listen not to respond. Okay, and moreover, while listening, you are supposed to keep some other things in your grip. You're listening to his issues, you're listening to his problems, you're listening to his all the feedback. You must listen carefully, okay? And during that listening, you must withhold your judgment, withhold any this decision. Just stop it. Stop judging the person. You must listen him first. You must listen him. Afterwards, you can build up any judgment, any image about that person. We must withhold our judgment whenever we are listening. It's the main thing, because just after listening even 2 lines, we just imagine the person is very bad, the person is very good. We at once just build up imagination in our mind. He's not good guy. I just don't want to be with him. He is not a perfect person. He is not a technical person. His knowledge is not ample. His skill is not sufficient. We at once just build a particular image. Even during listening, that's not the way. In this field and in other practical fields, it's not the way. We must withhold our judgments for a while. After the completion of his stance, we can build up any judgment, we can build up any image about that person. Okay, so for an SDR, it must be to become an active listener, and for active listener, what things are required? He must listen to understand. He must listen not to respond, but promptly. He must not to respond promptly. Promptly means at once. He is not to respond promptly. Okay? Okay. Then, what else is required? While listening, we must avoid some things, some particular things. We must avoid distractions. An SDR is attending a call and he is distracted continuously by his surrounding. He's just distracted by some friends, some gossips, some mobile notifications, some WhatsApp status, some Insta messages, and some other things. He's continuously distracted. He will never be able to get his call done. He will never be able to just get that task fulfilled. He will never be able, because his mind will not be along with him in that particular task. He will be mindless. His mind will definitely be there, but towards those distractions which are continuously disturbing him from focusing on that particular call and on that particular client. Those distractions are continuously disturbing him. He is listening, but he is not getting attentive. He is not getting the main clue of that conversation. So he will definitely be distracted, and distractions will definitely harm his image. Distractions will definitely just to make his call quite a flopped one, and it will definitely ruin the name of his company as well. So he must avoid distractions, complete peaceful environment, serene environment. You know which environment is required? Serene environment. Serene environment is required. Peaceful environment is required. Whenever you are supposed to call to any of your clients, distractions must not be there. Then he must avoid,